Okay, here we are, and this is going to be the basic way to knit. I've got a size 13 needle. I did a slip knot. I'm going to put it over the needle so you have your first, basically your first stitch on your knitting needle. Then if you will just watch my fingers very carefully, I'm going to do 25, so 24 total, because I need 25 stitches and that first one counts as the first stitch. Now if you just continue watching, you loop it around your finger and then stick your needle through and it loops onto the needle. And you just make sure that it's going over with the crisscross right there with both your finger and the needle through the loop. And you just pull them down the needle as you go. This is a great way to start for a scarf or for anything like that. If you had a smaller needle, you could do pot holders with this. I'll probably do some videos on that later on this year. I'm hoping to anyway, because I am overdue for some new pretty ones. But there's the loops. And I'm going to do a few more. Just make sure your finger. Now, if this was really hard for me to catch on to at first, the knitting, I thought it was so difficult. But if you just continue practicing, just keep practicing, you'll get the hang of it. And before you know it, you'll be making panels for sweaters and things like that. Now, this is the part that is the hardest. It is your first row. It's the hardest because it's up against the needle. I'm going to zoom in here in a minute so you can see a little bit better what's going on. But you've got to put your needle through the loop against the needle, the other needle, and then loop your yarn around and then pull it off. So your yarn is going to be in between those two knitting needles. Okay, and you're sticking it through the hole and grab onto it so it doesn't fall out. Loop behind your right needle and pull it through and then pull it off. And this is one of the trickiest parts, but once you practice this, this is called the knit stitch. It's the only stitch I know right now, but it's tricky to get it through that stick. You have to work with it sometimes and get your yarn to scoot up so you can fit through. Both needles through the hole, loop your yarn around and pull it down. So you've got it right there pulled in. Now you're going to pull your needle over your yarn just like that and pull it off. But I encourage you, if this is difficult and you're not catching on, just keep practicing if it's something you really want to do. Because the first 2 weeks that I was knitting, I said, this is so stupid, this is so hard, I'll never get this. I really thought I would never get it, but I was determined to get it anyway. And now I'm doing videos to help others learn, because I love the way the knit ends up when you're all done with it. It's so soft and it's kind of stretchy all directions instead of just one direction. Like crochet I love crochet, but it's completely different. So just make sure your thread goes through there and you don't pull it off that one needle. You have to make sure you stay, where you've got it on that second needle before you let go. Get both needles through the hole and you wrap it around. See how it's wrapped around that one needle before you pull it off the first one? You have to wrap it around that second needle before you pull it off the first needle. And right here, your needles should be able to click above that yarn. And it took me a little while to get the hang of knitting, but now I just absolutely love it. I hope this is close up enough that you can kind of see what I'm doing. Sometimes you really got to work with it. This first row is the hardest, but once you get that, the yarn is a little looser on the needle once you have that first row, and so the second rows and all the other rows are a little bit easier to do. So just keep going. Keep going, keep going. You can do this. Yep, you just slide it through that hole where both needles are through the same hole. Wrap that yarn around and slide it off. Now you do have to worry about the twisting of the yarn if you are making a complete circle, but right here it's not something you really have to worry about. You make sure, you know, you're going on the side, all your thread is kind of facing the same way, and you're not likely to turn it unless you're doing it on purpose. There are some patterns or whatever that calls for that, but I haven't even tried those yet. Not a chance. They're both through the hole. Wrap your yarn. Pull that yarn on one side. Make sure it's around that first needle or that second needle. And everything I do here is right-handed. I'm sure there's some left-handers out there, but I would not know where to start with teaching left-handed. So I'm sure there are YouTubers that do, though. So just keep going all the way to every last stitch. Now at the very end, where it's coming to an end here, it gets easier for the left side, your starting needle, for all those stitches to slip off. So just be very careful to keep them on, because at this point in my journey of knitting, if they slip off, if I can't easily find the right hole to go through, well, I have to start over. It's good practice, but just try to hold it on your needle right here. This is like the easiest ones to slip off, so just be careful. And that last stitch is really important. Got to hold it tight there. Wrap the yarn around and come through, and then you pull it off, and make sure you hold it onto that needle. You can't let go of that needle for any time, or you'll lose all your stitches. Now see here, I'm twisting them straight where your work is going down towards the bottom. And when you're working this, your yarn is always going to come off to the left. Now also, when you go back on this, it's easy to mix up your tail with your working yarn. So just make sure not to do that, because if you work your tail, once again, if you don't know how to put those stitches back, you'll have to start over again. I've done that quite a few times. So here we're going to do the same exact motions. Stick the needle through the hole, have both needles through, wrap the yarn around, loop it around the second needle, and then you pull it off. I hope this is a well enough description and visual that you can catch on to that. There's many people on YouTube that are teaching this, and other places. I'm sure Skillshare and all that has it. And I do love the circular knitting needles, even for not circular work. It does kind of get in the way sometimes, but when you're done with it for the day, you can stick your needles in the ball and your work will be on that string that you just saw come in front of the camera, and it will not fall off your needles. I was starting with the long metal needles, which I do like working on them, but this makes it where your work doesn't fall off so easily. And these wooden needles are wonderful. I love them. They're my favorite. I got these on Amazon as well. I'm not an affiliate. And the last time I tried to make links from Amazon, it didn't work. I may try to do that again, but I haven't gotten quite that far yet. I've still got to figure some things out about this linking and affiliate and all that stuff. But right now, it's just, you can find any size you want in wood in the circular. And you don't want the really short ones, because then you don't have room to work. You want the longer ones. I think these are probably 36, maybe they're only 24 inches, the cord. And so this is the last row I'm going to do on the video. But it's the same motions, the same stitches all the way. This is called the knit stitch. It's not the purl stitch. I have not successfully done the purl stitch yet. And one of these days I will learn it. But it's not today. I hope y'all have enjoyed this, and I hope it really helps you get the hang of the knitting. This has been a fun project. It's a sweater. I'll have it coming up pretty soon. I'm going to have several videos around this purple sweater, because got this one and how you measure your panels, how you know how many stitches for your sweater. That's another video I have up with this one. And then this one will be the final, not this one, but the next video will be the final on this sweater, unless I decide to make sleeves. And that's a whole nother video. A whole nother day. So, I hope this has helped you. And happy knitting. Y'all keep going, get the hang of it, and keep doing it, because it ends up being so beautiful when you're done. So I hope y'all have a great day, and thank you for watching. And this right here, that's why I love using the round ones, because you stick it in and your work will not get lost. You can't make it fall off there. So, and you can just stick your work to the side and it stays in there. We will see you on the next video. Y'all have a great day.